Hello, my virtual second graders. Today we're going to do something in our sketchbook since you now have your art kits. We are on the first page going to make rules for your own non-objective artwork. So last time we talked about abstract non-objective artwork, which basically means artwork that doesn't really have a picture of something, but more is a artwork about design and shape. So on your first page, you can do this in marker, color pencil, crayon. It might bleed through with marker, but it's up to you if you're okay with that or not. And at the top, you're going to write my non-objective rules, because we're going to give you rules, or you're going to make rules for yourself for what can be in your design and your artwork. So kind of like how, and we'll look at a few artists last time, they had maybe limited colors or limited shapes or limited types of lines. We're going to limit ourselves so that way our artwork has a certain look to it, a certain style. So you're going to write colors, shapes, and you're going to write lines. You don't have to write the numbers down, but I'm going to limit you to 3 to 5 colors. I'm going to limit you to 1 to 3 shapes, and I'm going to limit you to 1 to 2 lines. So you can do 3 colors, you can do 4 colors, you can do 5 colors. If you really want to do less, you could. Black and white are not going to count, so you can use black and white no matter what. And we'll go over each one of these categories and look at a diagram, so that way you have plenty of ideas. So the first one is colors. You don't have to write the colors, but kind of just put a sample of what colors you want to use next to it. So here's our color wheel, but of course we're not just limited to the color wheel. You can use things like pinks, or if you have something metallic, you can use that too. But just remember that there are lots of colors with lots of variations. So for me, I'm going to choose 3 colors. Remember, your colors should be different than mine because it's your rules. As well, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you some different times I did this with different rules and different shapes, and you'll see how different they show up. So you can now choose 3 to 5 colors and color them next to that part of your notes. Remember, you can use black and white no matter what. All right, for shapes, remember we have geometric and organic shapes. So choose 1 to 3 shapes that you think you're going to use. I'm going to do a circle and a cloud, but you can do any 1 to 3 shapes you want to. I will tell you now that our next part of this is we're going to decorate our sketchbook cover with these rules, so make sure you really like these shapes and these colors. The next part is going to be lines. Choose 1 to 2 lines. And lines can go different directions. Lines can also make different things. So like if you choose a straight line, it doesn't have to just go horizontal. It can be thick or thin as long as it's a straight line. So I'm going to do a straight line, and I'm going to do a dotted line. Remember, you can choose up to 2, or you can just use 1. All right, so before we get into designing your front cover, we're going to show you some artists, and I'm also going to show you another set of rules I had and another set of artwork I made. Also, if you did something on the front, you could also do this art design for today on the inside cover, or you could do it on the next page. That is up to you. Okay, so remember, Mondrian he had the primary colors, white and black, rectangles, and lines that went straight up and down, which made all of his work look similar and unique. This is Alma Thomas. You can see she uses lines of kind of like dashed or dotted color. That makes her type of art unique to her. This is Kandinsky. Now he had a lot of different lines and colors, but the way he put them together were very similar, making his style unique to him. This is Frank Stella. It's a lot neater. As you can see, he only uses curves and straight lines, and they all kind of stack together, which makes his style unique. And then this is Mark Rothko. Remember, he did the big rectangles that went from side to side on the page. So really, you can make yours as complicated or as simple as you would like. All right, so this was another one of my examples, and I chose blue, teal, and yellow. And I'm going to go through this really fast, so just watch. I had circles only and zigzag. So then I went ahead and used my shapes and lines to create a composition that was non-objective, so not real. And then I went ahead and I colored in different parts of it with my chosen colors. And I did end up making a second one of these, which looked very different, but it also followed the rules still. So on your front cover, you can write your name, and then around your name, I want you to design using your non-objective rules. So you can think to yourself, am I going to make big shapes? Am I going to make small shapes? Will my shapes overlap? Or will my shapes create a pattern and be really neat and organized? Will I have shapes inside of other shapes? These are all ideas you can think about and play with. I'm going to use Sharpie. Of course, you can use pencil first, so that way you can sketch out what you're going to do before you color it in. But think about how you can arrange your shapes and lines first, and then after that, think about how you can spread out the color to make your composition look interesting. Also, before you do your cover, if you want to, on like the back of the front page, do a few sketches to try to figure out how you might want to arrange first. That is totally encouraged because, well, sketchbooks are for sketching. So I'm going to make 4 little mini sketchbooks covers. So let's say I take one shape, there's one shape, and then I do a circle and I go, okay, that looks like a flower, so maybe that's not the best idea because then it looks like something. What if I stack my circles like that, put my name on top, and then put clouds in the corner? So that's one idea I could use for arranging. What if I did clouds that more came out to the side? Kind of reminded me of like clouds that are longer. And then I did circles that overlapped. That might be an interesting composition. And then maybe I'd write my name like there. Let's see, I can also think about my lines. So if you want to sketch it out first in your sketchbook before you go for your main cover, I totally encourage that, so that way you are making something that you've kind of thought about how you're going to organize it. All right, so once again, your sketchbook cover should look nothing like mine because you have different shapes, you have different colors, and you probably have different lines. If you have the same shapes and colors as lines in me, that's okay, but maybe try to arrange them differently. So maybe you can do big circles around your name, or maybe you can do clouds that are only around the edge. How can you make it different using your shapes, your colors, and your different kinds of lines? All right, I'm going to speed this up since you're not copying me, but you can start to see kind of my process of how I'm thinking about color. Remember, you can use black and white on your design. It's kind of cool with these sketchbooks. If you have a white crayon or white color pencil, it shows up on the brown, and it's kind of a cool way to add a little bit more dimension or color to your sketchbook. So you'll see I use some white to kind of add some extra designs, but still following my rules. All right, when you're done, remember to send me a picture of this. And next week, we're going to be using these rules again to make some bigger artwork. So if there's a rule you really kind of want to get rid of, start thinking about that as well.